Lewis, how was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good. Didn't really do anything, which is what I want in a weekend.
Do you ever do anything?
Nah, never. Actually, I read a book, a short story that made me really angry.
There was one time where you were like asking me how my weekend was, and I was like, "How was it?" Like, I did a thing.
Yeah, very rarely do I ever do anything. The most exciting thing that happened on my weekend was that I read a short story and it pissed me off because it sucks so much.
Was it the story about your life?
It was by Stephen King, right? One of the best horror authors ever. I bought a short story compilation. All these short stories he's written.
Horror authors confuse me. Do you honestly get scared by a book? You read a word and you're like, you don't, because there's no jump scares.
Yes, I read Pet Sematary and I was
A horror book.
Yeah,
I was terrified.
Stephen King.
What, did like a little poodle come out of the ground and scare you in your bed? Like,
no, a cat did. Yeah, that's what happens. Big scary zombie cat. So, no, you don't go like, ah!
Because that would be funny. You're reading going, ah!
Actually, because you do that when you watch a movie where you go, ah! But you just feel a little bit spooked.
Imagine if you turn the page and go, whoa, I did not see that coming.
My grandma did that once. She loves like murder mysteries. I remember I was at her house and we were both reading books together in silence. No one said a word for like probably 30 minutes. And then my grandma just goes, I was like, oh my God, she's had a heart attack.
Grandma's
what happened?
dead.
And she just goes, oh, sorry, he pulled out a knife. Like, fuck.
It's like, yeah, but you can read at your own pace.
Yeah.
The reason why horror movies are scary is because they build suspense and they, if I was trying to read a book, I'd be like, man.
Well, that's just because you can't read. That'd be if you were reading Spot.
I'd be like, this isn't about footy. I'd be like, where are all the pictures?
Yeah, so I was reading this short story, best horror author of all time, right? Guess who the villain was?
I don't know.
Could be a murderer, could be a ghost.
Like a zombie or a serial killer.
Those would be good villains.
Yeah.
You know who the villain was? Sand.
Like quicksand?
No.
Regular sand.
Sand. They were on a planet that was sand, and the sand didn't want them to leave.
So the sand was pulling them back?
No. They landed on this planet, and then one of them started looking out into the sand, and then he literally started asking for Beach Boy tape so he could listen to the Beach Boys, and he wouldn't leave the planet. And the other guy's like, come on, we got to leave. And then they ended up...
The sand can talk?
No, the sand was hypnotizing them or something.
So, I'll be honest, if I'm at the beach and I want to leave, and the sand goes, hey, champ, you're not leaving. I'm like, mate, you're sand. You've got no say in this.
Worst villain ever, right? Okay.
You know what? I do hate sand. In that way, I'm a bit like Anakin. You know, it's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, Planet of Sand. They're stuck on Tatooine. They couldn't get off.
Yeah.
Here's how it ended, right? They escaped the planet except for one guy.
Imagine if sand was the villain in Star Wars, like not Darth Vader or the Emperor.
It kind of was.
Be a better villain than, who was the one in the first? Oh, no, Darth Maul's cool. What was I didn't like one of the villains.
Count Dooku?
Yeah, he was okay.
He was pretty good.
They brought him in to replace
General
Jar Jar.
Grievous? I liked him.
Actually, you know what? The Star Wars villains are very good.
They are.
Yeah.
That's like one of
it's all the good guys that suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had great
I would
villains.
have preferred if they replaced Qui-Gon Jinn with sand.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
Here's how it ended, okay? Right? So one of them, they get off the planet. They narrowly escape despite the sand wanting them to stay, right? And then the guy who gets stranded on the planet, this is how it ends, right? Well, how would you end this book?
I wouldn't write a book, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is what happens. So he sees the ship leave, and he goes, finally, I can be alone with my sand. And then he eats sand until he dies. So and I read that.
Eats the enemy.
No, he just eats the sand and becomes full of sand and then dies. Apparently, that's the best author of all time. Stephen King, delete it.
He's not very good at endings.
It's like, how am I going to end this scary book about sand?
Has he done other crap endings in the past? Have you read more of his books?
Yeah, I read Under the Dome and it kind of just ended.
Did he end where he was under a diamond?
Did he eat the
Under
dome?
Oh, the dome.
No, he didn't.
He didn't eat the dome?
I won't spoil it because it's a good 30 hours of reading.
Good 30 hours. There's no such thing as a good 30 hours.
At least it wasn't about fucking sand.
Yeah.